you kind of have to prep for it. There's a character you need to recruit. Um, you'll see at the beginning, right after the beginning of these cutscenes, they'll go and pick up what's called the Tavern Patron. This is using Ophilia's Path action, which is her guide ability, which allows her to guide people, basically. And if you have someone with you in battle, you can summon them. So the Kate route would take a Nephren person, and someone has already done that in the tournament already with the off chance of getting it. He did not get the Kate, but it can happen. It's a 3% chance every time you head a battle in what is called Ring 1.
Yep. So you can't see those show up in the chapter stories, which is relevant because that's where most of the combat that you're going to see happens.
Right, so they're just getting started, skipping cutscenes, which is, of course, one of the best reasons that this is a good speed game. It would be pretty bad otherwise, really.
And so they're just going to run through here. They're going to grab that Tavern Patron that we spoke about and head up to the mountain to get some more cutscenes.
And then they're going to go grab a court staff just to get a little bit more magic, which will allow them to actually kill the bosses, the first two bosses, with far more ease than they would otherwise.
One of the fun factors about this game is that whenever you have a story that you're supposed to be following, it'll show up green on your mini map there in the bottom right, kind of give you a direction of where to go, so you don't ever have to worry about getting too lost.
Yeah, that's great. And there's a lot of stuff that's on the mini map. If you play it casually and you don't really notice everything, you could be like, "Oh my god, that was on the mini map all the time." That happened to be for a few different things, but yeah, the green is definitely helpful. Even in a speed run, if you're not 100% sure of the route yet, it's for sure an easy way to like, oh yeah, I have to do that next.
Like both of them are opting to break and run.
And
So there are two mechanics in this game that are really important. One is the break mechanic and one is the boost mechanic. When you see an enemy, it will have a shield underneath its body that tells you how many times you would have to hit it to break it, as well as a couple of boxes that indicate which weaknesses it has. And once you've hit the enemy with its weakness enough times, it will become broken. And once an enemy is broken, it loses that turn and its next turn, as well as taking double damage from all attacks.
And also gives your party 100% chance to free if every single enemy is broken, which is why they're doing this in the first place. It's safer, but it's slower. That's, you lose a few seconds, but you guarantee the run. And so Ionic's coming up on the first boss, which is the Guardian. And so he summons this guy. He can do a staff attack, or he can do a 3 wins attack. And the 3 wins is what you want to see. The more 3 wins, the better.
So, as I was saying before, you can see the shield number. When it hits with 3 wins, you're taking off 3 of the shields as opposed to just 1 with a normal attack. So it gets you closer to the break, and the goal here is to break him twice and cast a max BP Holy Light on him twice, and that will generally be enough damage.
Right, and with no wins at all, it actually won't be. So it can get dangerous because this didn't actually happen on Ionic's screen because he did not hit enough damage, but usually after the first break, the Guardian will summon, and as you can see on Xoneris' side, he'll summon the Wisp, and after I think it's 4 turns, the Wisp is going to explode, which hurts a lot. So unless you're at max HP, you might die.
It deals about 150, but if you're not ready for it and it hits you, it will often kill you. So it looks like Xoneris had a little bit more luck wins-wise, but Ionic Karma's first one to take down the boss.
Ionic got there earlier. I think he only had a 1 encounter outside. That might be why.
Xoneris cleans it up with no problem as well.
And then right now they're just going to run over to Atlastan to pick up Cyrus and do his chapter 1, which will be the only of the 4 chapter 1s. These 2 are the more complicated ones. The other 2 are just pretty much free.
So for any viewers who are seeing for the first time, I'll now explain the boost mechanic. So when you spawn into the fight, you'll see a couple of dots underneath the character's HP bar. It indicates how much BP they have. They start each fight with 1, and you generate 1 every turn that you haven't used any boosts. So what the boosting of attacks does is if you do normal attacks with boosting, it hits 1 time per BP that you add. So if you use 1 BP, you get 2 attacks. And for any other attacks, generally, for most other attacks, it just increases in magnitude the damage of that attack.
Right, and since if you hit multiple times, you can break the shield more quickly, but on the other hand, you also lose the ability to use the maximum BP, potentially, depending on how you manage things, during the boost, where it's usually most effective. So it's a sort of give and take system that you have to decide what's best in each situation, and I think that's one of the reasons we love this battle system so much, is simply because there is just so much strategy involved when you go deep into it.
Army here has a pair of ants, and a pair of ants is one of the worst encounters that you can get. They seem to be more difficult to run away from than some other enemies, and they can hit pretty hard, so if you get hit too many times, you may die. Fortunately, this game does auto-save every time that you screen transition, so the worst case scenario is that you have to start back at the beginning of the screen.
Yeah, ants are going to be harder to run away from because their combined level is just higher. And the way it works is you have a fleet chance based on the combined level of all your party members. So it's that simple, really.
So we're picking up Cyrus here. His path action is to stare at people. It's called Scrutinize, and he learns their secrets, which is often an item that's left on the ground, or in some cases it'll be a secret they know that makes the item shop sell additional items.
Or a number of other things that aren't relevant to this run.
True, yes. I know that, well, I believe that Xoneris actually does a backup that involves scrutinizing somebody in order to complete a side quest to get an extra little bit of money later on in the run.
The safe route, maybe?
Yep, safe route.
Yeah, that's just going to be a back. If he does that, that's just going to be a backup 11,000 if he fails a scrutinize later and has to do it and pay 8,000, I believe it is, at Saintsbridge.
So now we're going into the subterranean layer of Russell. He stole a book, and we need to deal with that, so we're going to go find him and beat him up.
And they're going to purposely kill 2 encounters here, so they can get 10 JP. That way they can, after Russell, will have 30 JP and allow them to learn Lightning Blast and possibly Luminescence. Ooh, Skeleton's not necessarily good. If he can kill it in 1 turn, he's fine. Otherwise, he's going to have to take another battle.
Yeah, so one of the kind of smaller increases in JP that you can get is if you manage to kill all of the enemies in an encounter on the first turn that you've encountered them, then you will get 10% bonus JP.
Yeah. So he's either going to have to do another battle here. He's picking up this Soul Stone, which is optional depending on if it dropped the last. I didn't see if it dropped previously, but he's going to have to take a battle outside Whistlewood to get Lightning Blast, or hope that he doesn't get Howlers first, which isn't that common anyway. Whereas Xoneris is purposely taking the extra battle here.
So Russell comes with his pair of icicles. That's not their names, but we'll call them that.
Wisps. They're wisps.
The pair of ice wisps. These ice wisps are actually the most dangerous part of this fight, because... Ooh. Okay, so Karma just had Cyrus get fully bullied, causing him to die just from auto attacks from the enemies before he could get his second cast off. What we're doing here is we're going to cast 2 fireballs with Cyrus, and that'll break the wisps, and then we'll use a soul stone and a max level BP spell to kill them off.
Yeah, and unfortunately when you die, excuse me, Unfortunately, when you die, you lose all your BP, so you can't necessarily get that max spell off when you wanted to by sudden strip. On the other hand, in this fight, it's not a horrible problem. It just makes it a little slower. And Olive like double heals the amount of hit points, so that's not the issue.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if Cyrus's attack here is going to be enough. Okay, so it looks like Karma actually opted to use both Soul Stones to guarantee that he could kill off all of the wisps before they stopped being broken.
Not a bad option. Xoneris, on the other hand, he broke Russell with Wind's Guy, which is always good, and now he's going to just toss the Soul Stone and then do a full Holy Light again.
Yep, so once you have those wisps down, all you're doing is you're getting the boss broken, and then using a combination of max BP spells and small soul stones to deal enough damage to finish him off.
Yeah, there's some RNG, but in general, as long as you keep your healing, pay attention to it, it's pretty safe. It's just a matter of how long it takes.
It looks like first blood. Oh no, that's just another break. Xoneris, I think, is going to have first blood here, though, with this spell here. There you go. All soul stones deal a fixed amount of damage, so they naturally deal 200, 1100, and 2700 respectively from small to large, and then all that damage is doubled if the enemy is broken. And if the enemy is not broken, but it is a weakness, then it deals 1.3 times damage.
The only way to increase that damage is put on a weapon that increases the respective element, which the same thing is if you put it on a weapon that weakens that element, such as a Forbidden Dagger, which weakens Shadow, and I think Fire, that'll weaken the spell stone. But otherwise, it's fixed.
That's right. One of the common themes in this run, and I think many RPG runs, is that you're going to be underleveled for almost everything you do. So there are a lot of soul stones thrown in this run because that fixed damage is very important.
Yes, that and this ability called Hired Help, which also does fixed damage at the cost of spending money. And right now you're going to see both of them after they do this, what we call the Whistlewood grind. They're going to be running around all over getting a lot of money because they need a lot of money to beat this chapter quick.
Alright, so the main goal, the only goal really, for both of them right now is to get to 100 JP on Cyrus as quickly as possible. What that's going to allow them to do is pick up a second spell. They picked up Lightning Blast in town, they're going to pick up Blizzard as well. And it'll unlock his first passive, and his first passive ability is called Evasive Maneuvers, which decreases the number of encounters you get by 2.5 times. So you can go 2.5 times as far on a screen before you'll get an encounter.
Ionic got first try bugs. That's really good. That's the encounter that's one of the 3 encounters you want to see. Oh, Xoneris got it too. But
Xoneris got surprised. Ooh. So if Xoneris can survive a round, I don't think that he will here.
Not likely.
Yeah, so Xoneris is going to get game over here, but this will only bring him back again to the beginning of the screen because of the autosave.
Yeah, Ionic is actually quite ahead now because not only did he get that, he skipped fighting the ants outside, which saved him some time as well. So he got lucky. He basically got best Whistlewood luck you could get.
Indeed, so we're going to see now Karma is going to go down and tag Rippletide and then continue exploring the map a little bit more.
Tagging just basically means entering a town and leaving, because with fast travel you can just go back to any town you've already entered. So it just creates a hook. It's just quicker that way because that way you don't have to traverse the same area multiple times.
Looks like Xoneris got a 72 JP encounter, as well as the Ants and Meep earlier with 17. So I think he's about 5 JP off, so he's going to take one more fight, and then he'll be able to train that evasive maneuvers.
Any fight out in this zone should be fine. Especially this one. Not especially this one, but this one will be better.
So with invasive maneuvers, as you can see, Karma's just running freely. I say right before he gets an encounter. He's running freely on most of the maps to get a lot more distance before getting encounters than he was before.
That screen, I want to say, is probably a 60% chance you're going to get an encounter. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, but it's always on the last step, isn't it? It just feels that way.
Whereas, say, this screen, you're pretty much never going to get an encounter. It's very rare. It's possible, but I see it maybe twice ever doing basically optimal movement.
So that Kate there on Xoneris' screen, unfortunately, has no value at this point. But that's the cat monster we were talking about earlier. That's worth a bunch of extra JP, money, and experience.
In fact, killing it might actually be bad because if you get a higher level, enemies will take longer to kill you if you get bad luck later. So it might actually be a bad thing. I've learned that before.
Yeah. So Karma here is tagged Cobblestone as well. I don't believe Ulberg will be picked up, but it's a good city to have fast travel to because it's closer to a lot of the later stuff.
So basically, you have two choices. You can either go from Ripple-Tide straight to where he's going now, which is the Merchant Shrine, or you can tag Cobblestone. The difference is extremely small. I want to say it's maybe 5 seconds. I don't remember what the tests have brought, but the Cobblestone route is faster with no encounters versus getting the likely encounter from Ripple-Tide. So usually people will go to Cobblestone, and then you can just warp to Cobblestone later, right before you pick up Primrose, who will be the last character.
So Karma just made the full run of Stoneguard pass without getting an encounter, going from the previous screen all the way straight to the Merchant Shrine. A lot of people will take a safety there, or in a lot of runs you pick up the Warrior Shrine, which will make sure that you don't get an encounter on that screen.
That, for the Stoneguard screen from the entrance to what is this screen called?
Something Shore, something Coast.
Something Coast. Whatever the Merchant Shrine screen is, that actually is not as bad. To go to Stoneguard, however, has a much higher chance of getting the encounter, and a lot of routes will go to Stoneguard. So a lot of routes will either do the Warrior Shrine right there, or will pop down to South Stoneguard Pass. But I can't say I've gotten the Coast encounter.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Xoneris is going to be taking the M that is south there and then going down a screen, depending on whether he thinks he's doing all right on time. Because it gets you one extra soulstone to use later on to either beat an encounter or save some money, and it also makes it a little bit safer than it would be otherwise.
At least I believe the route tells you to get that stone when you go down to Runeblade later. So we might not be getting it yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so this route, if they're doing the normal route, the normal Everdor route, will be going down to the Shrine of the Runeblade, which is south of there. So it'll be passing by that stone anyway. And now they're tagging Gold
So one thing we didn't...
which is Ophilia's Chapter 3. And obviously they're going to have to come back later. He's choosing to get this Soulstone now, which is what the notes actually say. It's very slightly better to do it later in case you don't need it. If you've saved enough Soulstones from a couple things. But it doesn't hurt. It doesn't take that much time. And it's better to have an extra one than not to have it.
Right. So one thing that we didn't touch on that both runners have now done already one time is use a save, quit, and reload. What it does is it resets your step counter essentially for the screen so that you're much less likely to get an encounter when you're going to wherever you're trying to get.
Yeah, because the way the encounter system works is that every time you load a new area, it's reset, unless the two zones are the same name with the same danger level, which isn't really relevant to this route. happens in a few places known as manses, though. But so now they're picking up money. That's some great money chest right there. They're gonna go do the save and quit again, because you're never ever going to be able to run this screen without an encounter if you don't do it. Even with you do it, you'll sometimes get an encounter, though it's thankfully relatively rare because it's a level 45.
So right now, just a couple more items they're going to be picking up before they get back to picking up characters. The other two characters that they'll be picking up in this run are Tressa and Primrose.
Yeah. They should be going to Tressa either right now. I believe they do Locke later. Yeah, he's going to get Tressa right now. Locke is done in the middle of the chapter 3, I believe.
So Tressa is another unique character. Her special powers are, her passive ability is that whenever you transfer between screens, if you leave a screen that had a danger level, based on the number of steps or amount of time that you spent moving on that screen, you will receive some amount of money that was left behind by someone, presumably. And then her other ability is that she can talk to NPCs and haggle with them to purchase items from their inventory.
Yeah, so she's pretty much a standard recruit in every speedrun, outside of either A, because she's not part of the definition like an all-male, or B, means. No, actually the last tournament, I was at the last one or the one before, the last race, didn't pick up Tressa. They did a 3-character Tressa-less. But, you know, you have to compensate for the lack of money there and the lack of buying with some other stuff.
So it looks like Xoneris got a very unlucky encounter here. As he would say, this run has now been blessed by a Kate, but unfortunately blessed in the wrong way.
Yeah, so that was a chubby Kate. You have zero way of killing it, and this other, he did manage to escape.
Maybe it was blessed.
That's actually really good. That's even with one character dead, even with one bird, that's pretty rare. So Ionic's coming up on Mick and Mac. Make sure to not blank because you might miss them.
Yeah, in this particular run, you have a Wind Soulstone L, and that is enough to just straight up kill these guys. Because since it's their weakness, it deals an extra 30% damage, on top of its normal 2,700.
Right. You cannot kill both of them with a single large if you have 3 characters in your party. With 2 characters, you can. The Chapter 1 bosses scale up based on how many characters you've recruited total. So you'll see the 4th character, Primrose, is going to need a large and a medium to kill.
And Xoneris is also running now to Tressa's dungeon to go fight Mick and Mac as well.
Right, so now he's using the cobblestone warp to quickly get here, and he's going to go to Sunshade.
So Sunshade is the home of...
Oh, wait.
Where's he going? Oh, he's going to Everhall.
Going to Moonblade first, right? I forgot about that.
Moonblade, yep.
Moonblade, I'll pick up another stone or 2 and grab the 50,000 chest that's in Moonblade, which is the most money a chest can have in the game.
That's correct. And a lot of the exploration, so these are things that Karma could have done earlier, but a lot of the exploration you want to hold off until you have Tressa in your party, because in a higher danger zone, she will generate more money with her passive.
Right. The single walk to Runeblade will probably give something like 3,000. Maybe not quite, but it's 20 something, I think.
Yep, so right now, Karma is just running through a bunch of very late game zones. And you can see in the bottom left the danger level of all these zones is much higher than a bunch of level 8-ish characters should be.
Yeah, but that's the power of evasive maneuvers. Yeah, Runeblade and all of the advanced class shrines are level 50. So that'll be even more money.
You spend a decent amount of time in the Runeblade Shrine.
Yeah, you pretty much go as far as you can go without getting an encounter. I think it's possible, like a 1 or 2% chance to get that encounter. It's very rare if you do the walking correctly, but you pretty much don't want to go further than that. Thankfully, the chest is in a good location to get that you can.
Yep, so now that the money has been secured, Karma's going to head on over to Primrose's town, Sunshade, and pick up her and do her chapter 1.
Which, beyond the fact that Primrose is needed for her specific ability, which is Allure, which is basically the same as Ophilia's Guide, except that it runs on an RNG chance to get the character instead of a level-based 100% chance. However, it also has the added benefit of Primrose's Chapter 1 being probably the quickest of any of the 8 to do later, to do not first.
Yeah, so with really good movement, there's a fairly decent chance you can get through the Primrose's dungeon with no encounters. And then her boss dies to just 2 soul stones, so it's a very fast start.
And as you can see, you're right by the dungeon when you recruit her on top of that, so it's like extremely quick.
And Xoneris now is also going to pick up all that money in the Runeblade.
Oof, he got the battle, which this is a crapshoot. This one is just going to happen if it wants to. It's nothing you can do. Thankfully, they're not like too dangerous or anything, but they can take a while to run away from if you get bad luck.
So with a good turn order, you won't get hit at all. But it looks like there's going to be one action from Helgnish here.
Yeah, clean and simple.
So now we have our entire 4-person squad that we're going to be running with for the rest of the run here.
Yeah, single stories are only ever going to get 4. Some get 3. That's actually been a pretty recent development, using 3 characters. But you're never going to need more than 4 because you're never forced to have more than 4 for a single story. So it completely wastes time to ever get another character after that. So you pretty much have every story are pretty much going to be like, okay, who are the 3 characters that are going to be with you? And that's the route. As we said before, Ophilia has a few options. There's also a Therion route where you do Therion instead of Primrose, which is slightly more stable. Has somewhat less randomness, but is also probably about a minute or 2 slower overall. At least.
Right now, Karma just ran through the Lock of the Lost King, which is a place that is fabled to have encounters, but I've never seen one. In that dungeon, we picked up $20,000 more, as well as $30,000 and a soulstone.
Wind. Yeah, I think I've seen that encounter once, but I might have had bad movement.
So now we're seeing the glory of the allure route, and I say glory very sarcastically. Karma right now is trying to allure this. It's a man, right? So it's something. Allure this person to join the party.
Flurry girl.
Oh, is it the flurry girl? Okay. So he's trying to allure this person to join the party with a 30% chance per try. And there's something in this game called reputation. And if you annoy the townspeople 5 times in any town, then you're no longer allowed to interact with them with your path actions.
Thankfully,
and you have to.
Yeah, sorry.
I was gonna say, and you can either pay the tavern keeper to spread good rumors about you to fix your reputation, or you can save and reload and try again.
Yeah, Thankfully, there's an autosave literally right here, so it's not a huge problem, but it still takes extra time, and they can be quite finicky. Later on, we're going to have a 30% scrutinize, which is the same issue. Unfortunately, at that point, we actually don't have the autosave. There's a couple ways of mitigating it, for instance, triggering the autosave anyway, which is right next to it, or saving at the save point nearby before going and doing it.
That's right. Anybody want to run the numbers on 0.7 to the 12th? Because that's what we just saw here. It's somewhere in the way less than 2% region to miss it that many times in a row.
1.3%.
That's way less than 2.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad. It happens though. I've heard tell of what 200 something tries for the 3%.
Yeah, it's best not to speak of the 3%. It's a horrible, horrible thing. Okay, so that actually may have allowed Xoneris to pick up some of the time that he was behind by if we see him pick up this allure a little bit more quickly. Let's count him out.
Well, I've actually had pretty good luck with this allure in my attempts, but you know, it is what it is.
There's 5 misses there.
I missed the scrutinize last time, so that's the thing. Okay, so now this screen, not this screen, the next screen, this is another iffy screen. If you have perfect movement, you're usually good, but it can definitely still happen. You can choose to save and quit. You can also choose to save and not quit, which takes a couple seconds. And he got it. You can kill this. I think you have to do an ice stone medium, I want to say.
It needs to be an ice stone medium and an ice or light small.
So you can pick up a light small earlier for this specific scenario. I don't think Ionic got it, so.
There's a chance this would be a party wipe here. So when you try to run from enemies, you either succeed or you fail. The character you run with fails, and then all the remaining characters in your party trip and fall during that same round. So you are punished for the number of characters you have by getting that message that
Right. If you're playing casually, you could kind of mitigate this by waiting until the final turn and then healing if you're trying to like cheese it, but speedrun you don't do that. So yeah, uh-oh. He must realize he had bad movement, so he went to reset the room. But yeah, so as I said, what you can do in this case, in this particular screen, is just, it's basically 2 steps out of the way to go save. So you go save and then you try it. And if you get the encounter, you're pretty free to go do it. Another option, if you really want to be safe, is you could pop into the Apothecary Shrine, which will pretty much guarantee you no encounter. But that's slower as well.
So, as a side note, Xoneris got the allure in 11 tries, which is almost as unlikely. These are some very surprising RNG experiences here.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't bode badly for the rest of this, because we have another 30% coming up pretty soon.
And it looks like Xoneris got the Saints Bridge run on the first try, and the gap is significantly close between the 2 runners.
Indeed. So he's going to do this Chapter 2 stuff, pick up an item, another to sell item. He bought some soul stones from the guy up front. Pretty much every time you purchase from an NPC in this run, it's either soul stones or pomegranates, I believe. Okay,
right,
now we're doing
the other 30%. Here we go. Second try.
Oh, there we go. That's actually, despite the numbers, sometimes you have to wonder about the numbers, but it does in the long run actually add up to being correct. The problem with that particular one doing this route is, again, If you fail it, you either have to pay 8,000 to reset it, and you still only get one more set of 5 chances, or you have to reset and do the whole walk and cutscene stuff from the cathedral again. So it's a lot more dangerous than the one in Grandport fail.
Yeah, so it looks like Xoneris is going to be saving that scrutinize until after killing Hurltvitnir, because you come from the side, the other map on Saints Bridge that is really close to that person. That'll give him essentially a free save point.
And you don't have to get the cutscenes to deal with either, which definitely takes up some time.
So Karma's here ahead, I would say, by give or take 20 seconds because of the scrutinize.
Right. Now this screen's another one where if you get a battle, it'll happen. They both did not. In this case, you have a free soulstone or 2 to kill it. You're budgeted that in the route. But they did not. It's not a big deal. You don't need the experience for JP. So you just save and quit here, and then you're fine. You go grab this chest for money, and then in the next one, they'll kill the encounter no matter what with the soulstone. Any large will kill it.
It's great to see here, too, that both of the runners are close to a sync, despite there being a little bit of routing differences. So we're going to get to see both of their encounters here, both of them hoping not to get surprised, because these monsters can kill some of your party members if you are surprised, and you need the JP on most of them. So you want everybody to be alive when you use the soulstone.
Right. Yeah, this is a really bad one to get surprised on, because it's just because they can take a while to kill you here. They're high enough that they can surprise you pretty, not easily, but it's not. Wow, that was a sync soulstone.
We got to see the finer points of Xoneris' menuing. He gets in there by a couple milliseconds.
Xoneris had an earlier battle, which is why they synced up.
Did Karma just not train any abilities? Does Karma need abilities?
I think the only real thing you need is possibly his endless items.
I guess there's no collect in this route.
Not from the wolf. No, I don't think there's collect at all, in fact.
Alright, so this is Hurltvitnir. You break him. This fight is 100% fixed, assuming you press all the correct buttons, because he, at the beginning of the first turn, gets excited and then does nothing until after you break him. So you break him on the first turn, and then you use a combination of soulstones and hired help to finish him off.
It's interesting that both this wolf and a tiger in Tressa's story are pretty much the same. As long as you press the right buttons, you're not going to get hit at all. It's kind of funny that these they both are similar that way.
It looks like both of them got the inhibit defenses, so they didn't have to use any extra soulstones here. No backups needed.
Right. So that one Ionic picked up at Gold Shore. I'm not sure if Xoneris did. He probably didn't actually need it, because that's pretty much where the backup comes from. I mean, obviously there's a lot that could be a backup, but that one is easy to cut out if you don't need it.
Yep, and Xoneris actually did do the scrutinize to get it spawned, but did not run to go pick it up.
Okay, that also makes sense. It's maybe a few frames quicker to do the scrutinize first when you get there, but on the other hand, it loses time if you never pick it up. So, either or.
It looks like the scrutinize has had mercy on Xoneris as well, and he's got the extra items in the shop as well. So, the items that spawned, I don't know if it actually spawns the charm robe, but I do know that it spawns the bracelet. So, what we bought there is 2 charm robes, one for Primrose and one for Cyrus. That'll increase their magic defense and hopefully keep them alive for a couple of the other fights. And the other thing we bought was 8 stimulating bracelets. Is that what they're called? They give you 500 additional HP, so you put 2 of those on every character, and now everybody has 1,000 more HP than they did before.
And you need that, or else you won't survive Chapter 3 and 4. It's that simple. One thing is you have to remember to heal, and once you put them on.
Yeah, it feels really good because you
Like-
just go to heal wounds in your healing menu and just jam on your button until everybody's full.
So an interesting part of Ophilia's Chapter 3, which we're going to see in a minute, is that after the cutscene before you going to the dungeon is quite a distance to the dungeon. So what's often used in Ophilia routes for that point is to go do something else. I believe this route might actually either goes to Lock, but I think they both went to Lock, didn't they?
That's
So-
correct.
So I think this route goes to Tony's mom then.
Yeah, I think he goes to Tony's mom if you don't get any endless items procs. We didn't really cover what that is. It's an ability that you can train. If you get 2 merchant abilities, it's the first merchant passive. Every time you use an item, there's a 25% chance it will not be consumed. So you'll get the effect of it and still have the item. And one thing, I'm not sure if you guys picked it up, but Xoneris actually completed the A Safe Route side quest for 11,000 extra dollars. He's got big plans for that money. He uses it to buy 2 elemental shields, which he equips to Cyrus and Primrose, which allows them to survive the single target magic attack on Matthias later in the run.
Oh, well, that's an interesting strategy. That's definitely not in the notes in the route I know of.
Yeah, it's one of his tweaks that he made after getting killed by Matthias too many times.
Not a bad idea.
And that's why he pushed this menu here to a little bit later, was so that he could afford those.
Yeah,
Good
it's
shields.
definitely doesn't waste much time either because it's like a few steps. That's about it.
Well, you have to do the scrutinize on the bridge, and you have to turn in the quest. So it takes, I think it's about 15-20 seconds you lose, but it may save you an entire Matthias pull.
Yeah, I mean, that's for a tournament especially. That's definitely worth it. Because Matthias can be, there he is. We just passed him. We don't want to talk to him. He sucks. But yeah, he could be a dick. That's all there is to
So we
it.
kind of glazed over it with Karma, but the screen that Xoneris is on right now has some really annoying counters, so I'm going to go ahead and commentators curse him and comment on that right now. Hopefully he does not get the encounter either. Karma was fortunate to avoid it. And they're going to be running into the MMSF fight, as we call it. It's the Mystery Man and Shady Figure.
The Street Fighter and Majora's Mask fight.
Yep. So our strategy here is to break that top guy, the one on the right, a little bit earlier because he's much more dangerous. We're okay with letting the other guy cast his 2 spells, because what he's going to do is he's going to cast a Luminescence that hits all the party members for about 800, and then heal his team for 800. But if the other guy gets to cast his spells, it's going to be a big problem.
Right. So you're pretty safe with this fight as long as you healed beforehand and have the bracelets on. It's pretty free too, as long as you hit the right buttons. If you get the inhibit, it's great. If not, you basically have to toss a couple extra soul stones. Thankfully, because there's 2 of them, these 2 have very low hit points compared to the other Chapter 3 bosses. So 1 hired help plus some soul stones will kill them.
The one thing I think, I know I've glazed over it, I don't know if you mentioned it, but there was a very important reason we allured this person, and that is inhibit defenses. Do you want to go into specifics on that?
So basically, inhibit defense will give a defensive, both physical and magical debuff. We're only concerned about the physical debuff. The thief ability called Armor Corrosive does the same thing on a single target. And basically, it'll allow 1.5% extra damage. 1.5 times extra damage, I'm sorry. As you can see, it did about 7,000 to hit instead of like 4,500 or whatever it would be. Or 6,000 hit instead of 4,000, sorry. So that way they can, and then on Matthias, that'll especially be needed because with his 97k or something like that, you absolutely need that.
And we're really fortunate to see here both of our runners got the inhibit defenses they need on this fight, so that it Goes very smoothly.
Yeah, although, as I said before, in this fight, it's not a huge deal. You basically just toss a couple extra stones. You have plenty of turns to do it. As long as you don't misclick, you're pretty much going to get that fight. The issue is Matthias later, and that's the basic problem with this route is Matthias, is you need that inhibit defense, or either you're going to have to improvise and still get lucky, or you're going to have to reset. It's just up to him, unfortunately, and up to the Flurry Lady.
So Karma has picked up the Flurry Lady, as we call her, to hopefully get a flurry on these dragon monsters. What that'll do...
Flurry Lady. They both have Flurry, but the other...
Everybody's got Flurry. Yeah, that's true.
Basically, what benefit of this route is these... so basically this screen that we're coming up to, the Whisper Mill screen, you're going to get an encounter. It's impossible to avoid. It's just too long. But they can be broken by spear and bow. We're concerned with spear, and you get 2 chances to summon with this route. So that's one benefit of this route.
Real quickly there, Karma picked up the cat's eye in that chest. It's worth $20,000. It's just laying there in a chest for no reason. This is one of the screens where we accept the encounter, because there's actually no way to avoid it. There's no save point that we could reset at. So it's always these 2 dragon monsters, and we just got to get the flurry to break them, or start swinging our spears around and hope for the best.
And thankfully, they'll pretty much usually only do reduced defense on you, which is basically the same inhibit defense. And so they're rarely going to kill you as long as they don't surprise you, and even then they might not kill you.
The one thing that's kind of notable is everybody has terrible accuracy now, because they're all very underleveled. The NPCs that they've brought along have perfect accuracy.
Right, unfortunately, you can't use spear or arrow with hired help, otherwise it would be pretty free. There's another screen that you use 2 axe hits to kill the forced encounter with the hired help, and it works very well.
Looks like Zone is trying to break this encounter as well. Alright, there we go.
And now we're just finishing up the Chapter 4 stuff. Ophilia gets captured because cultists.
Can't be having cultists in my game.
I don't know.
So now for a little bit of money cleanup, we're going to get the 89,000 we need to finish the run. Pick up a free soul stone on the side just for kicks. And also grab a couple of healing grapes that'll be used in some of the backups later. Well, actually, I think they're always used in this run.
If you get first turn inhibit, you don't need it, but because you kill him in 1 break.
Yeah.
But you'll still use it because. Yeah, I think first turn inhibit doesn't need it, but you want them in case, because the likelihood is you won't get first turn inhibit.
So we're coming up on the home stretch here. This is the final screen. Karma's going to be getting to the second save point here, saving, and then picking up, before the fight, picking up 30,000 to get an extra hired help spent in that fight.
Yeah, this is another screen that you can get the encounter. It's not too likely, but it can happen. Not much you can do about it, but he got through it. And so he's going to save and quit. And before Matthias, there's going to be battle with his cultists that, if they feel like if they can just flat out kill you with their soul stones, and there's nothing at all you can do about it at all.
That's right. So what they can do, they have 3 different abilities, and I don't know what the percentages on them casting them are, but they can either straight up attack you, which is not too scary. They can use focus, which is very not scary. It just increases their magic damage. Or they can hit you with a soul stone that deals more than half of every character's HP. So if 2 of them decide soul stone time, then you're done.
Yeah, so they're going to be breaking them with a couple hits of hired health, and oh, well, rip. There you go. There's their soul stones. Should be fine because they can use olives to heal them. We need everyone alive at the end of the battle, so they'll gain a level and be full health for Matthias. But there should be plenty of turns for them to. Oh wait, no, he might be missing one.
If Karma has 2 large soul stones, then it'll be alright here.
Right. Usually you do 2 large and I thought it's 2 large and 1 medium, but
It's 1 large and 2 mediums or 2 larges.
Oh right, yeah. Yeah, that
Alright,
was skin of the teeth having to deal with it, but whereas Xoneris seems to be having a much better time.
Man, this race is very, very close.
It's going to come down to who can inhibit defense. That's pretty much it. Also,
Bring in Our Lady, and she says flurry.
Also, Matthias can do that, which is also a problem. It's what, a 1 in 16 chance? No.
For this, it's a 1 in 8 chance
It
that
is a
he'll
1
hit
in
the
8
same
chance.
person twice.
Right.
Well, actually, it doesn't matter which order the abilities are cast in, so it's actually a 1 in 4 chance.
I think it is 1 in 8, but whatever the case, it's looks like he recovered pretty well.
We've got the turn 3 inhibit on one side and turn 2 inhibit on the other, I believe.
Turn 2 is actually bad. Turn 2 is actually very janky and not good, but we'll see.
Now they're going into the second break.
Matthias will always do that full party tornado ability on his coming out from break. But usually you can kill him on the second break if you have inhibit up, so it's usually fine.
Yeah, you can see all the HP values there, just real close to dead. That's where those the charm robes come in handy with the magic defense.
Right. And I think those elemental shields might have helped too, just by virtue of it can be arranged because it can kill 1 or 2 party members if you get unlucky. And you can see the power of hired help. It's just wrecking through his hit points. And I think Ionic's just about done here.
Looks like Ionic has come in first place here with a race time GG time of 53:56. I'm sorry, 53:56.
Oops, I think I was a couple seconds behind.
Yeah, I'm a bit behind as well. I'm gonna pause and reload that and hit this button.
Ooh.
Xoneris is finishing up here as well.
That was really close. Uh-oh.
One more big pomegranate for good measure.
And he finished up too.
Got more than you bargained for.
Few cutscenes to finish it out. GG. What a close race.
Yeah, indeed. That was, especially with the Allure out, that was extremely close for them both using that route. That route can just trip you up with its RNG, as we saw, but they both had first try Matthias, which definitely helps.
Alright. I'm going to go ahead and let Ionic know to come up here. And I've invited Xoneris as well. I want to get them both in here at the same time and talk about their feelings about Allure and whatnot. Big pomegranate for good measure.
Hey.
Alright, Karma's with us now. Karma, how are you feeling about that run overall?
Well, it was interesting for sure. Like, I don't know what happened with Russell. I've never seen it go like that before, so that was an interesting thing. But Whistle would make up for it. I made quite a few mistakes. I totally forgot the right before Saints Bridge. I forgot that I could use Soul Stones and just try to flee, and well, that didn't work out well.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. You just kind of...
So yeah, I knew this was going to happen too because I haven't got that encounter in like over 20 runs or something. So I just forgot what I was supposed to be doing there.
Wow.
And then yeah, after that, I like went right back towards it.
Indeed, huh? Tournament luck there.
Yeah, that was just tournament luck and tournament nerves both combined resulted in that.
Okay. Looks like Xoneris didn't get the invite from the bot.
Hmm.
May have... Okay. Alright, so I'll work on trying to get him in here. Just real quick. 12 times Allure?
Yeah.
Let's hear the thoughts on that one.
That is, like, I know it's the cliche of I've never seen that before, but that exactly is what that was. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate. Thankfully, if you want to say, Xoneris took 11 times, so...
Oh, it took him 11 times?
Yep.
Oh my god, what a run.
And then you both got to scrutinize without having to reset it.
Yeah.
So that was good.
If it was 12 and 11 times on us for that guy, I don't know what we would have done. That would have been an absolute nightmare.
Xoneris actually saved his scrutinize until after the fight, so he would have had a much quicker reset.
Yeah, I think I talked to him. He mentioned he was going to do that. It just doesn't work out for me because I think he goes back to go buy the elemental shield so he can do that, but I don't. So it would
Right.
He also
got the safe. He also got a safe route, which gives an extra 11,000, so you can reset your rep if you need to.
For sure. If I needed to reset, I was either going to go to the one in Forest of Perjuration or the chest right before the Mystery Man fight. So as long as I only had to reset once, it would have been fine.
Oh yeah, the chest right. Wait, before the Mystery Man fight.
Yeah, there's a chest. If you hit the save point right before Chapter 3 Ophilia boss, there's a silver pouch. I think it's either 8k or 11k, but it's enough that you can get away with one reset.
Silver filled is 8,500.
So
that would still be enough.
We got Zone here as well. Xoneris, I want you to guess how many times Karma had to allure that lady.
More than me.
Just one more. That's right. You
Yep.
guys had 12 and 11. We were running some numbers. You guys were both in that 1 to 2% range of bad luck.
Yeah, 1.3% to get 12 fails.
Tournament luck for you.
Yeah,
I swear, in all
Go ahead.
my practice runs, I never had to reset there. And those were like a solid like 15 runs or so. Never happened. But of course, in the tournament, it's gotta happen, right?
No, we had the same thing except with the encounter right before Saints Bridge. Never had that happen in tournament. Had no idea what to do.
Yeah, so it looked like both of you got kind of good-looking fights for MMSF. Both of you got the inhibits that you needed there. You also both got the inhibits you needed for...
Well, turn 1 inhibit is actually better. Did Xoneris get turn 1 inhibit?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Wait.
I did not get turn 1 inhibit. In fact,
I thought
Tressa died.
Xoneris got turn 2, I thought.
But
Nope.
guess what happened on my end?
What happened?
Nadius decided to attack the same person twice because he's cool like that.
Hey, that happened to me too, but Tressa. So, I gotta share that pain with you.
And I saw the inhib turn 1, I was like, oh, maybe, let's go.
But you both recovered, and those were both good fights in the end.
Did
This
you
was
see- Sorry, go ahead.
for the amount of bad luck and good luck in some cases that you both got. Almost everything that happened to you happened to both of you in very similar ways.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, that was definitely a bit of a interesting. Who I think Xoneris got Karma got the perfect whistlewood now.
That
That's
got
correct.
the perfect whistlewood. And,
Xoneris got killed.
Caught by surprise.
Oh, that's fun.
He got surprised, then he got the 72 JP encounter, so he had to take an extra one outside. And honestly, that whistlewood was the deciding factor, I think, time-wise. But everything else was just executed so similarly.
Yeah.
So I got the ants outside of Whistlewood, so I thought, okay, we're just gonna take whatever comes. Doesn't matter. We got ants, we're good. But hey, I guess getting caught by surprise is like, yeah, that happened.
Nothing you can do. Thankfully, in Ophilia, it's a lot less likely than when you're Cyrus solo. But even so, it happens.
sure. I actually got the ants outside of Whistlewood too, but I misclicked and it ended up hitting Flea, so I was kind of nervous about what was going to happen in Whistlewood.
Oh, I thought you were just going to hope for the best in Whistlewood. I was like, oh, he's not even taking the empty counter.
No, that was not a yellow Flea. That was a whoops, I misclicked Flea. But it worked out.
Gonna be honest here, I think I played pretty well, but I just got screwed over by so many things that RNG.
Both of you played very well.
You pretty much did the same. You pretty much played the same, I have to say.
I did one little mistake that like my heart stopped for a second, but it didn't really matter. On turn 2 on the shady guy and the mystery figure, Cyrus, I used defend instead of using the item, the Palm M, because I menued a bit too fast. And for a second I was like, oh my god, I'm so bad. But luckily it fixed itself because of the turn order.
It's always good when mistakes fix yourself.
When I clicked it, my heart stopped for a second there. I was like, oh my god.
Did the two of you see the fight right before Matthias where the Mooks fights where they killed 2 of my people? I thought my run was over there.
Yeah,
Actually,
you managed to go through the skin of your teeth because you had enough larges.
Yeah, I'm thankful that I ended up with an extra large, because otherwise, I would probably just have to use both larges there anyways, even if I didn't, and hope Matthias worked out.
Yeah, definitely. When you got down to just 2, it was pretty clear that it was kind of all or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what screwed me over.
What's that?
So I got the normal Kate right after Whistlewood.
You got a Kate, wow.
Yeah, and after that my run was blessed just by it appearing. But then outside of Grandport, the chubby Kate also appeared and like anti-lucked the other Kate, and I was cursed after that.
You still managed to escape that, which was something.
Yeah, I know.
You escaped a Grandport encounter. How do you manage that?
It was only one bird, that's why.
It was one bird and the chubby Kate, and the chubby Kate fled. The bird killed one of my guys, and on the second turn I managed to escape.
Wow, I've never managed to escape from those people before, so congrats on that.
When you got the chubby Kate, I mentioned that you would then refer to the run as blessed. I forgot about the first Kate, though, and the unblessing that happens if you get a second.
I also didn't get bush skip for some reason. That was also a reason,
Yeah,
I
you got
guess.
stonewalled.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Bush was having none of that.
That was awkward. That never happened.
That bush is quite troublesome.
So,
Yeah.
Carmen, do you have any final thoughts about the run?
I'm glad that we both did as well as we could with the hand that we were dealt in the middle tournament run. A lot of first times for both of us, but I think we both played very well, and I'm glad to have Xoneris as my opponent.
All right, and Xoneris, any final thoughts?
Well, I was pretty confident that I have a good chance at winning, but for some reason in tournament runs I barely ever made it past like one win. So I guess it was bound to happen. Also, this route kind of sucks, to be honest.
It absolutely does. I agree with that.
I would recommend a new route.
Yeah, I mean,
none of the routes are actually that. The best route is the slowest, unfortunately. That's the Therian route. But that's also the slowest. Unfortunately, all the other routes are just, you have to hope you get good luck.
since I'm now out of the tournament, I don't really have any reason to continue Ophilia. Feels bad. Rip my motivation.
Okay, just start prepping for Cyrus. He might be next, right? TBD.
Oh god, please not.
I mean-
honestly, I think if we do another tournament, it'll almost certainly. Actually, I don't know who we do because Tressa is really the only other stable character. I want to say.
Bring Tressa back.
Yeah, and we did a Tressa tournament. Well, they did a Tressa tournament. I wasn't around already last year, but
Yeah, I missed the Tressa
I'm fairly
tournament as
certain.
well.
I'm fairly certain that Tressa's been canceled, according to the last race.
Oh,
Therefore,
right.
let's just do an Alphen tournament.
hey, I'll run it.
Can I
Maybe.
cancel Alpha
Probably
in
not.
response?
Yes, you can, because I don't think there are a lot of Alphen runners out there.
Good.
Anyway,
gonna quote-
thank you guys for joining us here,
I'm just
and
gonna
thank you for
quote
putting on such a
Stanjan
good
here
run.
and say I cancel Ophilia.
Oh, jeez. Poor
Thanks for
Ophelia.
being our commentators.
All right, thank you guys. That was
Yeah,
Hope
GG's
everyone
everybody.
GG.
Unlucky me.
all right. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching. Our next match is going to be Sunny Muffin versus Ank, and that will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, so 1 hour earlier. And there's no channel. We don't know which channel it'll be. So keep watching them all, and see you next time.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.